Thank you, Madam Chair. I wish to take advantage of the presence of our distinguished former associate justices of the Supreme Court when, in particular, they say that the uh, amended, the recommended amendment to the Constitution by way of a people's initiative is more of a revision than an amendment, citing that it will violate section or Article 6 of the Philippine Constitution. Madam Chair, the way this is my personal opinion, the when we call for the congressional or the constituent assembly, it's the first mode to amend the Constitution or revise the Constitution. It says, amendment to or revision of this Constitution may be proposed by, 1, the Congress upon 3/4 vote of all its members. So, I'll proceed from that. When the Constitution simply say, of all the members of Congress, it takes the totality of the members of the House of Representatives and then the Senate. Paano po yun, Justice Ascuna or Justice Carpio? Ang sabi po ninyo, if for example, the members of the Senate would not agree, kunwari po, inimbitahan namin sila, but they did not go there, or probably 2 or 3 only of them came in, and so hindi po represented ang Constituent Assembly. So there will be no time at all that we will be utilize that particular mode of amending the Constitution by simply for the Senate to refuse to go with us and meet with us as a Constituent Assembly. Wala pong mangyayari at yung pong napakahalagang provision na itinakda ng gumawa ng saligang batas para susugin ang saligang batas ay hindi po mangyayari kahit kailan. The House of Representatives will be at the mercy of the Senate. Kasi sasabihin lang po nila, wala po kaming 3/4, sir. I'm sorry. And this has been the case. I have been long enough in Congress to see that our invitations were not even responded to. Wala pong nangyari. The Senate, with all due respect, sat on all the invitations. RBH 1, RBH 2, whatever RBH. Wala pong mangyayari. Siguro po, sa akin lang palagay, pag sinabi niyang 3/4 of all the members of Congress, we get the totality of the members. Halimbawa po, ngayon po ay 309 ang members ng House of Representatives. There are 24 members of the Senate. We have 333. 3/4 of that is 249, I think. So sabi po ng ating mga kaibigan sa Senate, madadilute naman kami. Tama naman po yun eh. 300 po kami, 24 sila. But that is the simple language of the Constitution. Yun po yung sinabi. Alam ka naman pong yung 300 ay lulunurin ng isang timbang tubig, Mr. Justice. So kailan po mangyayari talaga? It will not even be in the foreseeable future. Maybe we will wait for all eternity para lang po mapapayag namin ang aming mga kaibigan from the Senate to meet with us. Mag-uusap lamang po kami, hindi po mangyayari. Just the invitation. Wala pong mangyayari. Para pag-usapan namin whether we will vote separately or jointly. But in my own personal opinion, kasi po, hindi po kami gagawa ng batas. When we join ourselves as a constituent assembly, we are not making legislative function. We're not doing legislative function. In the same manner, in Section 18, Article 7, kapag ka po i-revoke natin ang proclamation ng martial law, sabi po ng article, Congress voting jointly by a vote of at least a majority of all its members. Ganon din po yung pagkakasabi. Why? Wala pong legislation involved doon. When we propose an amendment to the Constitution, we are simply a member of the Constituent Assembly. Kaya nga po iraratify po ng ating mamamayan through a plebiscite. In Section 19, last paragraph of Article 7, sinabi, when the President shall have the power to grant amnesty with the consensus of a majority of all the members of Congress. That is not legislative. Kaya po pwede po yung joint eh. Nangyayari lang po yung bicameral pag gagawa po kami ng batas. Tama po yung sinabi ni Majority Leader Joel Villanueva. Magpapalit po kami ng kalye. Legislation po yun eh. So magbabicam po yun. In this case, we are not doing legislative function. We are simply proposing an amendment to the Constitution. That is a constituent power. Ginagamit po namin, that is not legislative. Ang totoo po nun, ang mag-a-approve naman po ng aming proposal, yun pong mga mamamayan natin. Siguro po, Madam Chair, it is a respectful request for everybody to consider na baka naman po hindi separate voting talaga. Kasi po, ang totoo niyan, yung gumawa po ng saligang batas, Madam Chair, kung gusto po niyang i-distinguish, isa na lamang po. Sabi po nila, katulad po nung Section 11, last paragraph, Article 7, kung gusto po nung gumawa ng saligang batas na i-distinguish talaga, joint voting, joint assembly, ganito po sinasabi, Section 11, last paragraph, Article 7. Congress determines by two-thirds vote of both houses voting separately. Tingnan po ninyo. Of both houses voting separately that the President is unable to discharge the powers of his duties. Dinidistingi po niya eh. Section 9, Article 7. In case of a vacancy in the office of the Vice President, the President's nominee from the Senate or House of Representatives shall assume office upon confirmation of a majority vote of all the members, both of both houses, voting separately. So, Madam Chair, may pagkakataon po sa buhay ng ating saligang batas, kung minsan sasabihin niya na, i-distinguish niya, voting jointly, or in joint assembly, voting separately. But in this case po, napansin ko, pagka po hindi tayo gumagawa ng batas, if we are not in a legislative work, ang sinasabi po ng gumawa ng saligang batas, it is simple, the totality of all the members of Congress. Kaya tingin ko po doon, joint voting. Salamat po, Madam Chair.
The Constitution expressly provides that Congress shall consist of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Period. It does not say that Congress, when performing legislative function, shall consist of the House and Senate. So, Congress is composed of the Senate and the House regardless of what they do. Whether performing legislative function or approving the declaration of martial or doing other things. No? But in the declaration of martial law, they have to meet, but the Constitution is voting jointly. It's the only instance in the Constitution that you can find the phrase voting jointly. In other words, this is an exceptional case. That's why if you add voting jointly in another provision, that is an exceptional case that departs from the general rule that the Congress shall be composed of the House and the Senate. Vote, and when one chamber cannot act without the approval of the other. You cannot even pass a law renaming a national road if it is an act of the House alone. You cannot pass an ordinary law without both chambers approving. And the Constitution is the highest law of the land. You cannot just say the Speaker alone shall convene the Constituent Assembly and you need only 255 votes that will all come from the House, and you can disregard the 24 votes of the Senate. That is an exceptional departure. That is a revision. So you cannot do that in a people's initiative. You can do that in a con-con or a con-as. I want to emphasize again, the Constitution is the highest law of the land. If you pass an ordinary law, both chambers must approve. And therefore, when you amend the highest law of the land, subject to ratification, you must also both approve. Thank you.
I made a qualification, Madam Chair, na kapag ang Congress po ay nagsanib para sa Constituent Assembly, hindi po kami gagawa ng batas. Wala po yon. Tingnan po ninyo, Justice Carpio, Section 3, Article 11. The House of Representatives shall have the exclusive power to initiate all the case of impeachment. Hindi bicameral po yun, kami lamang po yun. Yung constitutional, yung Commission on Appointments, this is an independent body enshrined in the Constitution. Hindi po ang gawain namin po doon ay gumawa ng batas. We are there to evaluate and test the competence and the merits of the appointees of the President. Wala po kaming ginagawang batas doon. That is why doon po voting jointly kami. And we are members of a constituent body. Ay sinasabi po rin CA. Hindi po ba? Pagka po nagkaroon ng trial sa Senate, pagka po yung impeachment, hindi po kami, ang Senate lang po is dissolved, trial. Nakalagay din po sa Constitution, that is not even bicameral. When a treaty or international agreement shall be valid and effective if concurred in by at least two-thirds of all the members of the Senate. Hindi po kami kasali doon. That is not bicameral.
Po.
Umani naman ito ng iba't ibang reaksyon mula sa ating mga netizens. Ayon kay Lady Sepetera, sana ganito ang gawin nila, masarap pakinggan at marami kang matututunan. Pahayag naman ni Jean Paul Carag, saglit lang ginawa ni Cory ang Constitution pero ngayon hirap na hirap tayo. Isa lang ibig sabihin yan, talagang may freedom ang Congress at Senate ngayon. At ito naman ang saloobin mula sa ating kababayan na si Romania Vansado. Ang problema sa pananaw ko maabuso kapag ang Speaker of the House ay may pansariling intensyon. Mga kababayan, feel free to comment below para maglabas ng saloobin sa balitang ito.